Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids. Today we're looking at this, which is the Kaiser Begleiter. That word Begleiter means companion in German. And I'm going to tell you that I do like this knife quite a bit. And I'm also going to let you know right off the bat that it's going to run you about 50 bucks, $52 right now over on Blade HQ's website. I've got links down below in the description if you want to pick up one of these. They do have it in a couple different colors, just to let you know. So this is the OD color, I would say. They call it green. They also have an orange, and they have a light blue, which is pretty cool. And then they have something that looks, at least in the pictures to me, it looks kind of like the grayish blade there with kind of a black handle. It almost looks like a navy blue though. But anyhow, this is the green one. Let me give you some of the details on the knife just to give you kind of the overall sense of it. So your end-to-end length is 8.125 inches. Your blade length is 3.5 inches. Blade thickness is 0.13 inches. And we're going to talk about the blade a little bit more in a second. Let's see what else can I tell you. The blade style, they're calling it a drop point. It is a flat grind. The finish is gray. It's a plain edge, obviously no serrations. Your handle length, 4.625 inches. Your handle thickness is 0.49 inches. Your handle material is G10, and you can actually see some of the texturing there on the G10, which is really nice. So let me give you some initial thoughts, and I'm going to roll in footage here throughout the video of me using this knife just so you can see what it looks like in use. First thing I'll tell you is I just like the overall look of it. It's kind of a classy looking knife. I think it has a wide variety of uses. You know, some knives you look at them, you're like, that's definitely a camping knife. Other knives you're like, that's more tactical. I feel like you could use this in a lot of different settings in a lot of different ways, and you'll be happy with it. It's going to do a good job. I do love to deploy this knife. So just to let you know, I mean, it just flicks nicely. I'll just sometimes just sit and flick it and flick it again and again. And you know, I'm not flicking my wrist at all, but just pop that and it opens. Even just pressing pretty lightly, it's going to open nicely. So no issues as far as, you know, at your pivot. It's not, sometimes you get a knife that's goopy. It's got all kinds of stuff in there. This thing is just, it's ready to go as soon as you take it out of the box. I'll do a quick end to end here so you can see. Obviously there's the flat grind that you can obviously tell. Got the thumb studs, and then we've got the Kaiser logo. There's your pivot with that blue around it, kind of a collar around your pivot. You can see the texture of the G10 a little bit there. Nice slot there, lanyard slot. Looking at the back end. Then we've got the other side. There's your pocket clip. You can see it is tip up carry, right or left hand, so you can switch it around to the other side if you want to do so. There's your G10 again, Begleiter. And again, it's a drop point, and you can see here, I mean, I bumped the camera there a little bit. It comes down, and then it's not, I wouldn't say it's a steep angle, but it's not rounded. It definitely comes and then drops. You can see that it's kind of, I don't know what am I trying to say here? It's not a sharp edge as far as, you know, when it comes down and then drops down, but it definitely isn't rounded. It definitely has an angle there. So that's what it looks like there. And then you can see VG10 is the steel. So VG10 is a stainless steel. It's going to be good for corrosion resistance. VKen10, I think it's called sometimes as well. It's a Japanese steel, and the G is for gold. So it's just a way of saying that it's a good steel. It's not S35VN or anything like that. It's not a CPM steel. But for the price you're paying, again, 52 bucks for this, I think you're getting a really good deal. There's your thumb studs. Take a look inside, and you can see, let's see, yeah, you can see it on this side. They have milled that out a little bit, so you're going to save a little bit of weight on the knife because they've milled it out on that side. Show you there the centering, really good. Kaiser seems to do a really good job with the quality control on their knife production. The knife weighs 3.8 ounces. It's, you know, perfect for me for an EDC knife. And again, you're going to see in the footage here that I've used it to, you know, do some food prep. I've used it to do some stuff in the outdoors, cutting wood. It can certainly, you know, everyday carry type tasks. So cut boxes, cut paper, cut cordage, that type of stuff. One thing I will tell you is that because of the length of the blade, it's a good slicer. So it's 3.5 inches, and you're going to see, like, I was cutting some kielbasa one night, and yeah, it does the job. Like, sometimes you've got a really, you know, a tiny little stubby blade, it's hard to do that slicing, but this thing is definitely a good slicer. All right, let's compare this knife to some other knives that when I saw this knife, I thought, oh, that reminds me of, and fill in the blank. So first one here is this. It's the Kershaw Skyline. So this is, it's like the 14C28 Sandvik steel, something like that. This one, I would definitely say that the Kizer has these two both have an outdoor use, an EDC use, utility use. This just feels much more rugged to me, quite honestly. And the VG10 has held up well, as I've used it in a variety of different ways. This one came to mind. It's definitely higher end. This thing's going to run you $180. This is the ZT0460. Again, like kind of sort of similar size, a little bit different look, but it did remind me of that one here. Here's one that has got a little bit more flair and pizzazz. It's the CRKT Fossil, but this is like an 8CR, a 9CR, 13 or 18 MOV steel, and the VG10, my experience is it's just better. It's just going to hold an edge longer. It's just more durable overall. Another CRKT that came to mind was this one right here, which is the Crossbones. I'll put that up at the top here. This is definitely more of an EDC gentleman's knife. The rest of these, I mean, I guess these two I would definitely just EDC. I wouldn't use them in the woods. These three I would use out in the woods, carving, tasks like that. And of those three, this one definitely feels the most durable. Here's one that I think a lot of people they see a similarity between the Begleiter and this one. It's the Boker Quaken. This one in particular is from Going Gear, and it's the bronze version. There's a huge price range on the Quaken, but I think you see. Let me just move the Skyline out of here and put this in. You can see kind of a similar look, more sleek, more streamlined, more of a gentleman's knife, I think. Again, the thing I like about this one is that I feel like with the Kizer, you just get a lot of bang for the buck, and you can use it in a lot of different ways. You can use it as an EDC knife, an outdoor knife, utility knife. Another one that came to mind was this, which is the WE or WE601. This one's going to run you about 250 bones. So, just do the math here. You got $250 for this guy and about $50, so 5 times the cost for this. The steels, we've got, again, I think this is like, is that a VG10? This is actually, I think this is an AUS 8. I think the Crossbones is an AUS 8. Then you've got a 8CR, 9CR. You've got S35VN. This is a VG10 as well. This is the S35VN. So definitely higher end steels for these two. But again, you got to do the math. Like for 5 times the cost, is that something that you want to invest? This one is definitely quite rugged. But I still think, honestly, out of all these knives, when I look at it and say, like, what's a good, overall utility knife you can use in the outdoors? I would say, let me slide this one over here. There we go. I would say the Begleiter and the Kershaw Skylines are ones the Skyline is definitely, those two I would think they have a wide variety of use. The other ones I think I'd be a little bit more specific in the use. Out of all of these, I still think, bang for the buck, this is the best deal on the table. I like this knife a lot. I think it's just a cool knife. I like actually the Crossbones a lot. But those are much more specific use. This offers you a broader use for the knife. So obviously you can tell I like the knife. I also think we got to be realistic, right? There's downsides to every knife. The VG10 is not going to be as good as some of the higher end steels. You're going to save a little bit money, but the the steel is it's not as good as, in my opinion, S35VN, S30V, that type of those types of steels. I do really like the fact that it has a slot for a lanyard as opposed to a tiny little hole. I mean, sometimes they put a lanyard hole on there, and you're like, that I really can't actually fit anything through there other than maybe a tiny little piece of bank line or something like that. Now, in comparing this to some other knives that I mentioned, like the Ontario Rat series, I think like the Rat Model 2, maybe the Rat Model 1 a little bit, but probably the 2 a little bit more, has a similar flair to this. VG10 over AUS 8, yes, for me, I would definitely do that. VG10 over a 420, a 440C, all those, I would take VG10. I've had good experience with it. I actually tested out the Spyderco Enuff, ENUFF, a while ago in VG10, and that has been that's been a fun knife to use. It's a small fixed blade, but VG10 has just worked really well for me. Now, for some people, when they hear Kizer, they think, oh, it's a China-made product, and so it's going to be garbage. I can tell you that, my experience so far with this knife and the other Kizer knives that I have is that they are well made. They do a good job. I just feel like the quality control is really high. I haven't had any issues with the designs and, just the overall function of the knife. You can tell when you have a knife that's got, like it's hard to open, or it's not centered well when it's all closed up. But I just feel like their QC is very, very high. And so, yeah, thus far, Kaiser Knives, I feel like, is doing a good job. And yeah, I'll be excited to check out more of their knives. I really like that blue too. I just think that's a nice little accent, little pop, something extra for this knife. I just think that, yeah, just add something extra. They didn't have to do that. It could have just been silver, could have just been, you know, your plain steel color, but they put a little bit of little something extra in there for you with this knife. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below in the comment section. Let's get the discussion started, as I always like to when I do reviews. In the meantime, check out some other videos. We got some links right here for you to look at. And thanks as always for watching our videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Check us out on Instagram, Tumblr, and Vero as well. More videos coming soon. Take care.